Hey everyone, my name is Brad. I'm out here at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds today in DuQuoin, Illinois. I'm in DuQuoin for this week for Navability Camp, which is incredible. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year where we get to help limb different kids from all over the country with all kinds of different limb differences. And so one of the reasons I'm here though is why I want to post this video. Today is a big day for me. 30 years ago today, I had surgery to remove the cancer from my leg, and so today is my 30-year cancer-free day, which is a big deal. The kind of cancer that I had, if I had been diagnosed with it 15 years prior to what I was, they told me they would have given me some chemo, cut off my leg, and sent me home to die. But I'm thankful that when I was diagnosed, they had the technology and the medical expertise to save my leg, to save my life. And so I'm here today and I get to do amazing things because of it. So I wanted to kind of talk about that today because it's a big deal. And if you don't know my story, I was an athlete growing up. I played football, basketball, baseball in high school. And I was playing in my last football game my senior year, and I got hit on the outside of my leg. And that's when it started hurting. And what I thought was a football injury turned out to be a tumor. It turned out to be osteosarcoma. And so I went through the chemotherapy. I went through all the treatment for it at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. And on July 15th of 1996, the surgeons took it out. They took out the bone, the top half of my tibia. They put in basically a big titanium knee. And I actually had that in my leg for about 16 years, almost to the day, actually, like 16 years and 5 days. Kind of crazy, but I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful, which sounds crazy, but I'm thankful for the fact that, not the cancer, but I'm thankful for all the blessings that have come from it because of that. I wouldn't be at Navability, if it wasn't for this long-term side effect of eventually losing my leg due to cancer. I wouldn't have got to go all over the world and compete in powerlifting and strongman, and wouldn't have got to meet all the amazing people that I've got to meet and see some of the things that I've seen, places that I've been. So I'm blessed in that tremendously. And if I had to go through all that again to get to where I'm at, to become who I am today, to do the things that I've done today, I would do it in a heartbeat. And most people think I'm crazy when I say that, but I would, because I've seen how the Lord's worked in all that. In fact, I don't know that I would have the family that I have today if not for that. My wife and I met one night at a college retreat where I was telling my story. She was singing, and about a year later we were married. And then we've had our children together, and so I'm extremely thankful for that. But so much good has come from it, and there's no way to really describe that other than to say that the Lord's hand was in it the whole time. The blessings that can come from hardship, the good things that can come from what seem like terrible situations. God does that all the time. That one of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of Joseph and his brothers, and how his brothers are jealous of him and they sell him into slavery, and he ends up in Egypt and ends up in charge, basically second in command, only behind Pharaoh. And God kind of shows him what's coming as far as the famine and all that, and so he stores up all the grain and food that's needed, and eventually his brothers come. They don't recognize him, and they eventually do, and they think that he's going to kill him or something. And so his response is not that, though. His response is, what you intended for evil, God intended for good. And so even when we don't see, in the midst of our trial, in the midst of the difficulty, in the midst of the hardship, we don't see the good things maybe at the time because we're in pain, because we're hurt, because it's hard. There's always purpose in it. There's always some kind of lesson for us to learn, because those trials are coming. That's life, right? Everyone that's listening to this knows that if you haven't experienced trials in life, then you're not old enough. They're coming. But there's always a purpose in that for us. And that's a lesson that I've learned. That's a huge lesson that I've learned in all of my time and all of the struggles and all the things that I've had to deal with, from the chemo to the initial surgery that I had to have, and then eventually to having the amputation 16 years after that. There's always purpose. There's always a lesson. And even when it doesn't make sense to us, we're going to learn. And if our eyes are open to that, if our heart is open to that, if we're listening to what the Lord's trying to teach us, then we're going to learn those lessons. And I feel like the other side of that too is those lessons are not always for us. You know, we have a responsibility. Once we learn them, there's people that aren't going to be in our lives that need to hear them, that need to know the same things we know, to need to hear our stories, that need to, to see that, you lost your leg. Okay, it's terrible, it's hard, and it's a big adjustment, and you have to adapt and all that. But you can, it's not over, and it's up to us to figure that out, and then to be responsible with that, with our story to tell. So that's what I hope that I've been able to do for the last 30 years is tell my story, to let people see that just because it's hard, just because it's difficult, doesn't mean that it's over, and I hope that, pray that God gives me 30 more years to tell the story. And if he does, I'm going to tell it. I'm going to continue to tell it. So, if I hadn't been diagnosed with cancer, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have lost my leg eventually. I wouldn't be here at Novability. And I honestly, I don't even know if I would be a believer in Jesus. He saved me from my sin because my eyes were opened to my need for him. And if you don't know him, you need to know that. You need to know that he loves you. You need to know that he has a plan for you and that you have no hope apart from him. So I pray that you will reach out to him, cry out to him, that he would forgive you of your sins, that you would trust him to save you, because you won't regret that. I promise you. It's a good day today, and I wanted to get on here and just give God some glory, give him the praise that he's allowed me to be here for 30 more years without this cancer in my leg. And yes, it's hard. Being an amputee is hard, but being alive is great. Being here to sing his praises, to give glory to him, to serve these kids, to show people that, just because life is hard doesn't mean it's not worth living. It's a good thing. So thankful for that. I'm thankful. I don't know. I'm blessed beyond what I deserve. And, I just want to give him praise for that today. Celebrate the fact that I've been cancer-free now for 30 years. And I hope you all have a great day today, a great tomorrow, and we'll talk soon.